morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously. So what do we do? 3, 2, 1, my juice little lights. Thank you, little lights. You're delicious and bright. Yes, they are, aren't they, my delicious little babies? Now then, the sun has cracked up on my delicious little babies. We've got a very, let's just say, very dark, cloudy sky. It has been raining. It is raining. It's raining. And, well, now we've got a little bit of sunshine. Okay, my delicious little babies. So it's still T-shirt weather, my delicious little babies. Okay, and that's the weather forecast in our old neck of the woods in our old England, my delicious little babies. Now then. So I hope that life is treating you all most deliciously wherever you are in the world, okay? I'll say it all now. Sending peace, love, harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected, okay? And please look after now, and please try to look after others, because we are in a bonkers, crackers and crazy world, my little honey bunnies, okay? And we've got to continue to good vibrations. Okay, my delicious little babies now then. So what have I got for you? Okay, that doesn't mean just got an itch. Now then, my delicious little babies. So this uploader happens to have 281,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? This is who I do advertising with. Anybody not in that way. I do advertising from time to time, and his name is capital C. These are both on YouTube, my delicious little baby, sorry. Capital C, Cal, okay, my delicious little babies, in the space, capital V, Vernon. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, this video is just over a couple of minutes long, so it's not long, my delicious babies, okay? And it's only been uploaded just a matter of hours ago, okay? I happen to like Carl Vernon's. I mentioned him long time, not long after I started on my channel, my delicious babies. And yeah, I do happen to like. I mean, he does bang out some very good. There we are, little videos, my delicious babies. Now the latest one, right? Get this now, my delicious babies, okay? So the latest video here, my delicious babies, like I say, in just over 2 minutes, is this is to do with your man there now. Now he happens to be the only man in this establishment, my delicious babies. Now he's got this large screen like this, so it sort of looks, I think it's like one of these iPads. Oh, sorry, my delicious babies, I think I've got an eyelash in me. Sorry about that, my delicious babies. Anyway, and he's got this iPad like in front of himself, just like I'm talking to you now, my delicious babies, okay? And he's got this, what appears, well, she's supposedly supposed to be some sort of model, my delicious babies, okay? And, well, anyway, he's eating his food, my delicious babies, okay? But instead of communicating like to a real woman, your man there seems to have her on a screen, you know, and asking her, you know, if she wants this to eat or that to eat. Have you ever heard anything so effing mental? There we are, in your life, my delicious little babies, okay? But this is the craziness of what's going on. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? Now, what was it? Did Carl mention? I think he did, or was it? I think he mentioned something about an asylum, my delicious little babies, okay? Well, I mean, come on. I mean, if you've got a man who's doing that, my delicious little babies, well, come on. Nobody can tell myself, you know, whatever our definition is now of normal. Nobody can tell myself that that is normal, my delicious little babies, because it certainly is not. Okay? But this is there we are. This is the bonkers world we're living in, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? So what is it with a man? So if you haven't got this going on, then you've got them. Oh, it's back. If it's raining, okay? So not much sun there then. So if you haven't got that, sorry, excuse me, my delicious babies, you've got them buying these flipping blow-up flipping $5,000. Okay, my delicious babies, these $5,000 flipping dolls now. that supposedly do many things, marvelous little babies, okay? But of course, they can sit there, but I mean, they're not like a woman, are they? Like where a woman will get up and cook and clean and, basically, you know what I mean? I don't mean this in physical terms, but I'm talking, just a conversation, where she can stand up for herself and not take shit. You know what I mean? Because that does not happen with a lot of men, marginally stuck babies in relationships. So I'm not branding everybody, you know what I mean? But that's why I believe that they buy these, they buy these dolls, marginally stuck babies, because I know that they're just not going to answer them back. And I know that there we are, they can do whatever they want, you know what I mean? And then you got this on the flipping silly screen now, this so-called model, marginally stuck babies, can. Well, I mean, the whole lot, there we are, is bonkers, sorry, bankers, yeah, bankers. Bonkers, crackers and crazy, marginally stuck babies. But this is the world that, there we are, that we appear to be living in, okay? So I always say about any man like that, he needs to get a effing laugh, wake up and smell the coffee, and understand that anybody who has a noddle would basically call your man there we are, a twat. Now, some would say live and let live, okay? Well, to a degree, maybe so. But, I mean, because at the end of the day, nobody's clothing and feeding others or paying the rent or mortgage, you know what I mean, marginalistic babies. But my point is that this should not, if we look at this on a serious side, we must not look at it, or should not look at it, as being whatever the definition is of normal, marginalistic babies, okay? Because otherwise, there we are, that's how these things get brought in now. Do you see what I mean? Marginalistic, there we are. Okay, marginalistic babies, okay? That's not normal at all. To myself, I mean, it's different if, say, I don't know, you've got relatives or family and friends, and you can communicate. Oh, it's really flipping coming down now, marginalistic babies. Okay, it's pelting down. Can you hear it? Marginalistic babies. Oh, having proper showers today. Anyway, marginalistic babies, yes. So it's different if you've got like family or friends and you can see them on a screen, So, I mean, that in one way is a blessing. Do you know what I mean? Because you can communicate. Well, that's very different. What he's doing is talking to this damn screen with his so-called model. Okay, mad, delicious little babies, and he appears to act as that there's nothing wrong at all. I would say that the lift does not go up to the top floor, and not all the cups are in the cupboard. Mad, delicious little babies, you know what I mean? But like I said, I always believe that men like that, okay, for some reason, they do not seem to be able to communicate with women in, well, very clearly the normal sort of way, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? Okay? I mean, I'm sure that there might be women out there who are doing it, but I haven't heard so far of that, my delicious babies. It seems to be flipping men. I'm not going to say all men mad delicious babies. No, I'm not. So I'm not branding everybody. Do you understand what I mean? I would never do that. But what I'm saying is that this is by no means normal. But please take a look at it. It's on YouTube, mad delicious babies, and thank you. This is how crackers it is. You know what I mean? Anyway, mad delicious babies, and just to let you know, that doesn't mean no. My video yesterday, from the time that I'd did my video, it never uploaded, I think, until about 9:30 this morning. My delicious babies in the morning. So it appears that I appear to be there we are, a pain in the ass to YouTube. There we are, my delicious babies. Do you know what I mean? Because they're really, really, really making, there we are, damn sure that my videos do not get out at all. I've been very serious, my delicious babies. And anyway, others have talked about this, where where they're like, and for some they're still banned from YouTube, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? And for others, the videos are just not getting out, my delicious babies, do you know what I mean? As I would always say, if we were not a problem to them, to do with whatever one wishes to speak about, then they wouldn't have a problem, would they? They wouldn't have a problem in letting others, there we are, hear my voice or anybody else's who's going through the same thing now as myself, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? So I just thought I'd let you know. So it's not for the fact that I'm not sending videos out. It's just that they're just taking forever, there we are, to to upload onto YouTube, my delicious little babies. So it appears to myself that YouTube clearly, there we are, has an issue with what I say on my videos, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Could it be, there we are, that I'm telling the damn truth to the best, there we are, of my ability? Could it be that, my delicious little babies? Do you see what I mean? Okay. Anyway. So then the last video that I've got for today, my delicious little babies, I think this is, again, I don't know if it's just over a couple of minutes or it could be 3 and a bit minutes. See, it's sun shining now, and now the sky's gone blue with a tiny bit of clouds. My delicious little babies, do you see? But I'd say that also represents what's going on in our country at the moment, my delicious little babies, which means that, 1 minute everybody's, up, next minute's they're down. Do you understand what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? Because we're having to deal with a epoxy government, okay, who doesn't want to put our needs first. Which at the end of the day, my delicious little babies, they should be putting, there we are, our needs first, okay, my delicious little babies, but it's very clear to myself that they are not, okay? And before I mention this last video, I want to mention something else. What's peeing me off now, every so many years, you have to do with that doesn't mean no. You have where these junior doctors, where they go on strike, my delicious little babies, because they're just the new set, there we are, of killing machines, there we are, my delicious little babies, okay? And yes, my shoulders do keep, there we are, rising up when I say it, and yet I'm warm in my room, okay? Well, we're just getting sick and tired of it. And what's even more irritating and annoying is when you hear some, because some mothers do have them, oh, just give our junior doctors a pay rise. What a crock of effing sharp, man. Okay, at the end of the day, I've never met, okay, even to do with junior doctors or junior nurses, I've never ever come across, and by the way, everybody knows I do not like either of them, okay, my delicious little babies, whether they're old or young, okay, because they're still giving that out now. There we are, knowingly what they're doing, okay, my delicious little babies, okay. For myself, I've never met a poor one. So ones that only stay in their jobs, there we are, and doing what they're doing, okay, because there we are, follow the leaders, okay, my delicious little babies, okay, and then they do things that, because as we all very well know, when they do things now that they're asked to do, then they get, there we are, these massive pay rises, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, okay. But what I get sick and tired of it hearing, and then once again, that doesn't mean no. What I get sick and tired of hearing, my delicious babies, like I said, some mothers do have, and they say, oh, just give him a pay rise. Oh, what a shame, de-dums, what a shame. You know something? I honestly believe that these mankind now, because I'm not going to say it about everybody, they need a checkup from the effing, there we are, neck up. Ones seem to really have forgotten what took place within the past 5 years, okay, my delicious babies, and before that, there we are, years before that, and certain seem to forget this now. So I just want to make a point that it completely pees me off, my delicious little babies. Do you understand what I mean? Yes. So now we're going to get to this last video, and that doesn't mean no. So this is on YouTube, my delicious little babies. Now this happened to come up on my feed, okay? And I've never seen who this is before, like I said, with anybody not in that way. I've never seen him before, actually. I mean, for some of you, you may have seen him, my delicious little babies, but for others of you, you may not have done. This uploader happens to have 64.7 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? And the uploader in the old space bar once again in YouTube, my delicious little baby. Should anybody have any form of an interest, capital J for Joseph, okay, Joseph, Joseph. Okay, my delicious little babies, and you know what, there's curly hands. Capital L Lewis, Lewrs. Okay, my delicious little babies, so that's the uploader. And the video should read SAS legend. Britain is in decline. Men can't be men anymore. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? So, SAS legend, Britain is in decline, men can't be men anymore. Well, anyway, what's my point to what I want to say? So, listening to this video now, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to make sure that I mention this video, okay? Now, I mean, you know, we can speak about, you know, videos that we watch, and we could decide for ourselves, well, you know, is this worth listening to, or is it not worth listening to, my delicious babies, okay? But it's the part where this SAS legend, okay, happened to say that leaving the European, he feels was the wrong thing to do, my delicious babies. Well, me personally, because he feels that he was wrongly informed. Well, me personally, I'll repeat this again, okay? I voted to leave, just the same as there we are, millions of others have voted to leave. You had some who voted to stay, and then you had others who voted to leave. Well, I happen to be one who voted to leave, Martin Babies. Okay, now I'm not one to vote anyway, because it's all a crock of shit. Okay, but when it comes to the Brexit, I thought, well, anyway, to be perfectly honest with you, I had somebody, anyway, I mentioned this not long after I started on my videos on YouTube, where somebody knocked on my door, because there was only 4,000 in Birmingham at the time, in our old England, who had this, you know, there's somebody at the door who had a knock on the door. Okay, now apparently I had to do this by law, okay, to answer this questionnaire. And what they did, they repeated questions, just there we are, in a different way. My delicious little babies, do you see what I mean? Okay, anyway. So, what's my point? You see, for those who voted out my delicious little babies, okay, I have reason to believe, there we are, which I do, that's just my view. I've been a long time saying it, I'm not going to change my view. This is my thoughts and feelings, it isn't anybody else's. I do not believe that we have really left the European EU. No, I do not. Okay, and I'm going to stand, there we are, I'm going to stand by what I say. There we are. Okay, my delicious little babies. In other words, we've been effing skanked, man. There we are. That's what's happened here. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? So do I believe that we've really left it? No. Okay? So when I listen to what your man here now said, that doesn't mean yes, because it doesn't, okay? I do not believe that we've left it, okay? There's too many, there we are, you know, when you hear all different things now, do you understand what I mean? My delicious babies, there we are, is why I drew myself to that conclusion, there we are, a long time ago. But when he mentioned this now, that he feels, you know what I mean? Me personally, nothing against the uploader, you know, who was, you know, and the SAS legend, you know, nothing against them. It's just I have a different view. You know, and maybe, there we are, he needs to look into things now. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? Yes. Because all is not as it seems. And I've got nothing across my shoulders, my delicious babies, so that means no. Nothing is as what it seems. So again, we're dealing with our poxy governments, okay? Because like I say, I believe that they're holding things back from us. There we are, I really do, okay? And, I mean, because they never got, supposedly, they never got what they wanted. But of course, as I would say, there we are, it's all by design. Do you see what I mean, my delicious? There we are, little babies, all by design, okay? but it's to give ones the illusion, there we are, that we'd left. That's what that's about, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? But of course, we do hear this on different videos, and of course, they keep dragging it up here, there, and effing everywhere. Oh, you know, well, if we hadn't left, then this wouldn't have happened, that wouldn't have happened. Oh, yes, it's easy to blame it on this, on that, and the other. Really, what we should be doing is taking a look at our poxy governments, okay, who are not doing what they're meant to be doing, which is to serve us as a country. Okay, but instead they get above the stations. It's like this latest. So, anyways, you know, if anybody who wants to listen to that man there now, you know, should anybody have an interest. But me myself personally, I disagreed with the part of what he said. Anyway, that's you know, that's just my view. Okay, my delicious babies, I'm entitled to my view. I'm a woman with a view. I should have my effing view. But it's like I say, you know, like this online bill. So this is the latest in another. Well, the fact of the matter is, my delicious babies, here's what I've got to say here. This has got nothing to do, just going over the letters and dots, you see what I mean? This has got nothing to do with our little babies, our young bairns. It's got nothing to do with that at all. What it's to do with, okay, it's just another way, there we are, to reel us in for something a lot worse. There we are, my delicious babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, okay. But what they're doing is they're using our little babies. Do you see what I mean? It's just a load of bullshit. The fact of the matter is they couldn't give a shit. Our putrid governments about our, you know, beautiful little babies and bairns now, they couldn't give a shit. It's just one big, there we are, effing excuse. And there's more and more and more, there we are, who can see this smart little babies now then. Something else I want to say. So I was listening to our lovely, you know, and like I said, not in that way, our lovely mornings with Mel Care, Rumble, my delicious babies, okay? So her numbers, you know, she's getting more numbers, oh bless, you know, because they're a lovely partners, you know, little Mel and little Rob, bless them both, okay? And she happened to be on about, okay, and I thought I'd mention this smart little baby. So I'm not talking to anybody who already knows. Sorry, I'm talking about and to anybody, sorry, who does you know, who does not know. See, I'm stumbling with this, okay. And she said even she's worried, you know, to purchase one of these latest iPhones because it's got things. You know, it's only clearly what she's heard or read, okay, Madlistic babies. It's got other things inbuilt so that you cannot remove it, okay, Madlistic babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, it's like if you remember decades ago, you know, like those little 20 squids, ka-ching, the little phones. I had a little, what was it, Motorola. They had a tune, didn't they, to that, where you just flicked it open. And I also had like little Nokias. I had a larger one and then I had a smaller one, then a smaller one. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, those were the days, my friend, we thought they'd never end. Yeah. Where, very true words, isn't it? To do with songs, mad, delicious babies, okay? Where you could just take the battery out. So you could take the battery out and then you could pop it back in again. But with these, you cannot. Because, of course, it's got, there we are, so much spyware on it. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? You know, the way I look at it, why would anybody want to spy on us anyway? It's just complete, I mean, it's just, to myself, it's just complete effing madness, man. Do you know what I mean? Why would anybody want to, I repeat again, to spy on anybody? But of course, they've got it in everything, haven't they? You know, and then now these latest fridge freeze, whatever they are, and everything like this now, everything's smart. Nothing smart about it, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean, okay? And so, yeah, so please, if anybody's wanting to purchase one of these latest iPhones, because to be honest with you, I only heard about it because I haven't been really reading up on it. But you see, I'm just not inclined to buy these things anyway, my delicious little babies. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. And like I said on another one of my videos, I'm having a feeling, to go back to one of these smaller Dog and Burns, my delicious little babies. If they still sell them, I'm pretty sure they may do. You know what I mean? My delicious little babies can, because it was just so much. There we are, so much easier. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies. For a start off, you never had all of the what's it called? This problem with signals. Well, I never did. You know what I mean? But with these, every 5 flipping minutes, I mean, I could be stood in exactly the same place or sat in exactly the same position if somebody calls me, my delicious little babies, whether it be one of my beautiful, dear little friends or otherwise. And then, and I could not have moved from that spot. And then it's like, say, oh, I cannot hear you, or you keep cutting out, or something like this, or we cannot hear each other's, there we are, what each other is saying. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, Kai? I just feel that, for myself, I do not feel that there's such a great invention, my delicious little babies, Kai. But with the cheaper Dog and Burns, you never had all those problems. Plus the fact you could just send a text or a call or something like this now then. Do you see what I mean? You never had all of this, there we are, all of this bother, what you have now, my delicious little babies. But what they did, they walked ones into it, my delicious little babies. So for those of you who already know my delicious little babies, then you already know. But for some, you may not have seen it the way that I'm seeing it. Okay, my delicious little babies, bless you. But they walked ones into it, didn't they? So, oh, you can put all of your photographs, you can put all of your videos on this little device, just like all your bank details, everything like this. That's why you see them going to the shop and, blip, blip, with the Dog and Burn and everything, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Yes? Okay. So one's walked into it, but of course, you could lose all of that. It's like, if you're going to have photographs, then the best way to do it is have the photographs, which is what you had for years, you know what I mean, where they're physical in your hand, where you can see that photograph. My delicious little babies, you know what I mean? And of course, I was actually listening to a video. I never wrote it down. Oh, I don't know how to get it back now. I forgot what I watched it on. But it was all to do with the Polaroid camera. Now, I remember decades ago, my delicious little babies, my beautiful dear little Nana and Granddad, how I loved them. So I've already said good morning, good afternoon. And they had a Polaroid camera, my delicious little babies. So literally, well, you know the Polaroid, don't you, my delicious little babies, where you could just take a photograph and then it would just come straight out. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Do you know what I mean? Of course, again, that was used for good, like little memories, you know what I mean? I've got one from when I was a little baby that was from a Polaroid camera, my delicious. I've got a few that's from Polaroid, camera, my delicious little babies, which of course, it could be used for good that way. And of course, going back decades ago, it was also used, and not so very nice, if you follow me, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Okay. But I just believe that having a photograph physically in your hand, there we are, is far better. That's just my view, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? So that's why I believe that these Dog and Burns, that ones, rely on it too much. Like I rely on it very much so, my delicious little babies, simply because I do not use a laptop. I've got an old-fashioned, like I said, an IBM one, okay, that she has a mind of its own. She likes to work when she wants to work. But I do this to my videos, my delicious little babies, which nobody can hear. It seems, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? And also if I listen to little YouTube videos, and sometimes I like to play my tunes, you know what I mean? So myself, I'm guilty of, there we are, I'm guilty of that myself, my delicious little babies. But I just feel that we just all need to draw a line down it. We need to maybe go backwards, there we are, in time, to where we never had. It's like you do not see as many computers now, but it seems to be laptops, iPads, and like I said, these Dog and Burns. Do you see what I mean? My delicious little babies, okay? So, but I feel that, maybe we need to go back in time and, to when, well, I just feel when we have better times, there we are, mardelish babies, do you know what I mean? Okay. But, and that's what I've got to say. And I spoke to somebody else the other day and happened to be talking about, like everything you look at now, like even if you go into your local shop, you know what I mean, mardelish babies, now for most, you will have a local shopkeeper not far from where one lives, mardelish babies. Well, the fact of the matter is that, you've got, what is it, everything's Chinese noodles. There seems to be mardelish babies, just same as those little bush babies, showing the Coca-Cola bottle, tiny little Coca-Cola bottle, you know what I mean? The fact of the matter is, mardelish babies, there seems to be a lot of, there we are, China. And I was talking to somebody the other day, mardelish babies, and they actually said everything is China, So this is not against the Chinese mardelish babies, okay? But I'll repeat it again. Where do we ever see what's our English? It seems to be different country now. Do you see what I mean, mardelish babies, okay? Other countries, there we are. Not being rude or disrespectful, there we are. Apart from our own flipping damn country, do you know what I mean? Country, sorry, mardelish babies, do you know what I mean? So it is very noticeable. But for most, so I do not mean this in a nasty way, but for most, they'll say, oh, yeah, well, I'll go and buy this from here. Do you know what I mean? And everything's just easier. But, they don't look back on, that we've lost a lot of, in our old England, mardelish babies, we have lost a lot of our, there we are, what made us really great. Do you see what I mean, mardelish babies? But of course, sorry, I'm stumbling an awful lot on this video, but I'm not changing it. And every right to stumble. But again, there we are, all by design. And I'm going to repeat this once more because we're hearing, and then I'm going to close my book. So we must remember to go backwards to where we need to go back to, mardelish babies. But anyway, and just very lastly, where they keep mentioning, and I am going to keep rambling on about it, like they keep on about, aeroplane crashes and everything like this. Now, well, the fact of the matter is, mardelish babies, okay? Now, one time, they couldn't, and I'll repeat it again, they couldn't wait to get ones onto a plane, mardelish babies, you know what I mean, to line the pockets now. So let's get it right, to line the pockets of other countries, okay? Because you've seen their roads looking all nice and swish and deliciously wonderful. Do you know what I mean? They're all businesses, are thriving. Mind you, I also believe that they too paid a high price, to do with tourism. They paid a high price as well. There we are, my delicious little babies, okay? Some countries more so than others. But at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is, now they keep mentioning all these crashes now, to stop ones, there we are, going on holidays away, on trips away, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes? So this is the crack that they're at. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? So ones really, there we are, I feel, they just need to, stay on the ball here with what they're doing and how this is rocking and rolling, okay? Because they're clearly trying to frighten others not to travel. I mean, I've even spoken to some, who maybe have got older cars, okay, my delicious little babies, and where they want to be able to, buy maybe a little bit of a newer car, okay, my delicious little babies, so that they can travel. So rather than go by plane, because some just do not like travelling by plane anyway, my delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? To get a new one so that they can, travel to, their home countries, by car and, ferrying everything, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? So you just have to, try to keep up with Maardlishtic babies. There we are, what they're doing. Okay, Maardlishtic babies. And yeah. So I don't really have much else to say today, Maardlishtic. I mean, please do not get me wrong. There we are. If I got started, I could talk about, there we are, lots of things, Maardlishtic babies, okay? But it's just things just to, there we are, just to be aware of. You see what I mean? Okay, Maardlishtic babies, okay? Because we must remember that with these, there we are, there is always an agenda. Do you see what I mean, Maardlishtic babies? And going back to that first video, I mean, some may just say, oh, maybe it's a P-take, and do you understand what I mean? But no, I genuinely believe, which I do, that this, there we are, is actually going on. There we are. I really genuinely do. Okay? But no, and that's why when you look at the screens, that's another negative. So that's not a good thing to be doing. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, you can say live and let live, but no, it's not a good way to live at all. But that's what they're doing. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay? It's like communities. Communities are the same. Okay, see, I like to know, I mean, because I remember for decades and decades, just like in my beautiful dear little Nana Bears, that doesn't mean no, like in her day, when and my dearest granddad's day, where, everybody knew everybody, like in the 10-foot roads and everything. But these days, it's like, you just leave ones, nobody really wants to know who else is living on the road. I'm not going to say that about everyone, Maardlishtic babies, okay? But with myself, I'm totally opposite. And I like to know, there we are, who is moving on to the road, Maardlishtic little babies. Do you see what I mean, okay? But there has been a lot of changes. It's just not the same. I'm not the only one saying it. There are many. I could talk to others who live on different roads and everything, and there we are, they're all saying the same. So, at the end of the day, we cannot all be wrong, can we, Maardlishtic babies? Do you know what I mean? And as far as I'm concerned, it's not always for the better. But that's what they're trying to do, to make it where nobody cares about anybody. It's like I said the other week on one of my videos where, it's to do with, and I had two who said it to me in a space of one day, where they said, have you noticed, Carla, that it's, ones are just selfish now? Like they just do not care about anybody else, whereas at one time, there we are, ones really cared about one another. Now, we do still see it in some places, Maardlishtic babies, okay? But that's how it's become. Do you see what I mean, Maardlishtic babies, okay? So, yeah, there's a lot to this. It's like I believe that they shouldn't be charging all these prices to like nurseries and everything like that now, then, Maardlishtic babies. Do you know what I mean? There should be none of this. And one should be able to live really lovely, Maardlishtic babies, but like I said, when you've got a putrid government, what we've got, and I'm not the only one saying it. There's millions, there we are, who are saying the same damn thing. Do you see what I mean, okay? They're doing everything blatantly in our birth races, man. Okay? And like there's some kind of God. And we must worship what they do, even though they keep rubbing our flipping, not in literal terms, just little babies, but it may as well be, rubbing our damn noses in things now. And we've just got to agree with everything what they're doing. It's damn rank, man. It's disgusting what they're doing. Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? But this is a road that they're wanting to send us down. But let me tell you, there we are, they're getting a lot of pushback. A lot of pushback indeed. And of course, when you're hearing about these protests that are going on all over the place, Maardlishtic babies, yeah, because ones have just had it effing enough. Simple thing, they've had enough. Do you know what I mean, Maardlishtic babies? You cannot just blatantly just keep having the effing pee taken out of yourself, and that you're just not allowed to say nothing about it, because that's what they're basically saying to us. Maardlishtic babies, it's not just our government, in our old England, there we are. It's other governments as well. Do you know what I mean? So, really, we have to feel sorry for not only ourselves, but for other countries, there we are, who are very sadly going through it as well, okay? And what it is, there we are, it's a damn well corrupt governments in our old England, there we are, and all over the world. And they happen to feel, because they're dressed little women and little men in little suits, that they're far better and superior to us. Well, no, they're damn well not. Because take that away from them, take the jobs away from them, what are they? They're F all, man. Do you see what I mean? They're man and woman, they're no different to us. But they get paid more ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching to do the wrong thing. And then that's when they get more of a wage rise in their old ding ding skyrocket martelish babies, you know what I mean? So the worse that they do is the more, there we are, they get paid. And when all the time they're flipping damn well laughing at us when we've got flipping problems, to do with heating bills, gas, lecky, flipping food, everything. Ones with jobs, who cannot get jobs. The care martelish babies, ones who have got jobs, but are still finding it very difficult, bless them, there we are, to live. And I say that about anybody. But these don't give a shat. You know what I mean? And to myself, this is where I feel that we should have far more of a say. But I do not believe that we should then say, oh, yeah, let's just get another partying, let's just do this, because what are they going to do? In the long term, are they going to be there to help the populations, the mankind? Are they going to be here to help, or are they going to slip, there we are, into the same net as what these are doing now, martelish babies? You see what I mean? So you cannot trust them. And I'm not saying that you probably have one or two who's not trying to do good, but the fact of the matter is that they end up, there we are, the same as what these are. So I don't trust it at all, martelish babies, not at all. And it seems to myself there appears to be too many egos, way too many. What we need to do right now, there we are, is find somewhere, there we are, to start to steer our ship, there we are, in the correct direction, martelish babies, do you know what I mean? But they needn't come in like when they've caused all the flipping problems and strife and issues, that, oh, yeah, we've got a solution to this, yeah, we're just going to stop doing this and stop doing that. No, because they're the effers that have caused the damn problem, isn't it? You know what I mean? And we've got all this immigration going on. We've got all of this thing. And I tell you what, our lovely not in that way, bless his dear little heart, Alex Belfield, bless him. They're doing the same to him with YouTube as well, martelish babies, okay? Bless his dear soul. I always put a thank you anyway, bless him. Well, it's like he said about, these immigrants. And I tell you what, he's banging correct, because when you look at it, and I did a video, 3 years ago? You know what I mean? Because I says you have to ask yourself a reason why they come into this country, martelish babies. And he said, and he used that word, and I thought, yeah, you're flipping right. Our lovely little Alex, not in that way, bless him. He said the barracks. Yes, there we are. I can well believe that. You see what I mean, martelicious? There we are, little babies. Okay? So, what we've got going on in our old England, there we are, is very serious. And for these, they're not running from a war. No, they're not. And then I heard, what was it, on another video somewhere? I can't remember which one. I listen to that many martelish babies, okay? But, sometimes I need to focus, on something else. But the point is this. What was the talk about? I forgot where it was now. To bring some Palestinians, to this country, martelish babies. And the thing is, I do not believe that the Palestinians want to leave their country, martelish babies. Do you see what I mean? So, can you see what I mean, martelish babies, okay? But when they say that these ones are running from a war and other ones are running from a war, well, the fact of the matter is, you've got Pakistan, Afghanistan, and, everything's got to stand on the end, marvelous little babies. Do you know what I mean? Okay, and that's not me being sarcastic. It's just very honest, isn't it? Like you have Kurdistan, what's it, Kazakhstan, whatever it's called. So that's not me being nasty, marvelous little babies. There seems to be a flipping stand on the end of everything, doesn't there, marvelous little babies? You know what I mean? Just like pop a pill, you know, een or paracetamol. So anything with an een on the end, or anything with an ain on the end, or anything with a mol on the end. Well, it's addictive, isn't it, marvelous babies? You know what I mean? So whoever's doing all of this now, maybe they're addicted to this kind of because it doesn't matter which way you look at it. I mean, the fact of the matter is there must be some form of, there we are, trafficking going on here. There we are, there's got to be. You know, but obviously there's other things going on as well. Do you know what I mean? Marvelous little babies, okay? But anyway, I know what I'm saying. So I just say things that come to the, you know, the top of me noddle. Do you know what I mean? Marvelous little babies. But I know what I mean. I'm hoping that you get me as well, marvelous little babies. So I'm going to, you know, end my video now. But I love you so very much so. And thank you so very much if, you know, even if you do have the chance to listen to my video, marvelous little babies. Because like I say, you know, there ain't much chance of really anybody hearing my video. You know, these days, my videos, marvelous little babies, you know what I mean? So yeah, my lights just go on and on. But yeah, so yeah, we just got to keep our eye on everything, marvelous little babies. Do you know what I mean? Okay, because every day there's something else. But the one thing that I've noticed over a long time is that what they're doing, it's like they keep throwing everything out, okay, to keep others distracted so that, there we are, so that they can bring in other things. There we are. Do you see what I mean, marvelous little babies, okay? But ones are just continuously focusing on one thing and then they're missing something else. There we are. Do you see what I mean, marvelous little babies, okay? So until my next video, once again, how I love you so. Thank you for listening. I hope that the day, wherever you are in the world, or even that time for some, you know, that you're having a beautiful time, okay? So until my next video, so very much love. I have no idea how long this is going to take, my little babies, okay? So lots of peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings. Love you. Thank you. Goodbye.